quick way to get an EPS into VectorWorks. Here's a little icon that would be nice to use, and it is vector based. So that's the first assumption, or you have to verify this. So I'm going to use a program on the Mac that's called Preview, and we're going to say open with Preview, and then once we do that, we see it's converting it over. I see this object here. If we zoom in a little bit, we see everything gets bigger and bigger, and it stays nice and crisp. I'm not saying that makes it a vector base, but that's a good indicator. So then we're going to say save as, and what we want to do is we're going to save it as a PDF. Now we've already done this, so there's our PDF right there. And this lets me take something that's a clip art. This is from iStock. It says it's vector images, so that's half the battle. A new document. We're going to grab this and we're going to drag and drop it into a new document, and it says import PDF. And right now we have a PDF in here. If we look at the object info palette, it says PDF. And what we're going to do is say ungroup. And it says, are you sure you want to ungroup high level items? And we're going to say yes. And at this point, we can say select all, and it says 3 objects. So if we click here, we got a group. Then we have a rectangle, and then we have a bitmap. So here's the bitmap. We're going to say delete to the bitmap. We're going to pick the rectangle. You can see it there. We're going to say delete. Now what's left is this group. So now I'm going to say ungroup again. And what we're going to do is try and get this one item out of here that we want. It says group, so it's double group. And it's ungrouping it, and there's a lot of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a box around this thing and cut it, select all. The remaining items, I'm going to say delete, and I'm going to click in the center of my page, and I'm going to paste there's 5 items. Now if we wanted to, we could take this and we can pick these, and with the attributes mapping, we can fill in some colors that might emulate what we had a little bit ago. You notice that that was one of the items that in the process did not maintain itself. A couple things I'm going to do too here. Now you notice it says that it's a polyline, but it's not closed. It looks like it's closed. If we fill it, it fills in. That's one of those kind of aggravating moments for people who are new to the game. I have it filled. It is 2-dimensional. I'm going to also pick this and say your screen plane, because I don't want it wandering all over. And I have it filled, but I don't have it closed. So I'm going to say close. I could pick all of these and say closed all at once. Now they're all closed. And the reason you want to do that is you don't want to extrude these and find that they're open. Let's leave these two. Let's leave them open. Don't click the closed box. Let's pick this one, and we're going to go to black. Now I'm going to look at all this and say Command 6 to zoom to the extents. I'm going to duplicate it and move it up here, and I'm simply going to say tell the pink ones. Let's pick the 3 pink and say extrude, and we're going to give it an arbitrary dimension. Then the black ones, we're going to pick those 2, and we're going to say extrude, and give it another dimension. Now I'm going to close these guys. I'm going to go to the flyover tool, and I'm going to look at what we've created. It's laying on its back, but if I say OpenGL rendering, you can see what happens here. This looks solid. There's a edge to it because we've extruded it. Here's the original face. You see a little bit of segmentation, but what we can do with that is go to the rendering mode, go to the options, change it to high or very high. We can even flip shadows on. Now you notice how it's nice and smooth now, nice and smooth. You see some shadows on the inside here. And we want to turn on the set lighting options with ambient occlusion. Gives it a nice look and feel. You can see one of our other videos where we talk about how black is black, and if you want to have something that's black look like it's something other than black, make it a dark gray, because black becomes black, completely black. So this one here, if we change it to a color, we can tell that it's like a cookie cutter. So we have these two extruded at the same time. If we want to separate them, we can say ungroup. And now we end up with 2 extrudes. And this one here, we could put in some other color. But you see it's like a cookie cutter. So we have to say, edit extrude. You see the shape laying on the ground with this kind of ghosted image showing you where the extrude is. That makes it kind of impossible really to edit that geometry if you needed to, but because it's a simple click in the Object Info palette, we're going to open the Object Info palette and click the Close button. It looks different here. You can see that the program senses it's changed. I'm going to go close that out and get out of the exit extrude mode. So let's double click on this one, and we're just looking at this piece over here. Same thing, we're going to go into the Object Info palette. We're going to click on Closed. Tell that all to go away. And again, because I picked these 1, 2, 3 or more items and extruded them all at the same time, they remain as a single extrude. So now we're looking at one item that's all pink, one item that's red, one item that's black. We can change this one in the Attributes Mapping palette. And essentially this pertains to what's visual here. So here we have our finished extrude. What we're going to do is group it to several extrudes. And we're going to want to have this so in the front plan view we can see it straight on. The intent was to put this as an icon, a logo onto the side of a building. So we're going to go to this view, the side, like a left or right view. And then we're going to rotate the object. So if we go to the top and we go to the front, we can see it straight on, which is logical. You can see there. So now if we put that onto the side of a building, we can see it quite nicely. So what's the takeaway? The takeaway here is that we started with an EPS. You can see it here from iStock. Then we opened it on a Mac with a program called Preview. It opened it up quite nicely. We wanted this little portion here. We saved it as a PDF. We then took this PDF, which looks the same, and we dragged it into VectorWorks, or you could import it. Then we ungrouped. And by ungrouping, we ended up with the components we wanted. We threw away the bounding rectangle. We threw away the bitmap that was a representation of the vector art, and ungrouped several levels steep the artwork that was inside the file. And since it was vectors, it comes into VectorWorks quite nicely, and we then made sure that we closed each of these polylines that was part of the icon, the symbol, the graphic that we wanted to keep. Extruding them, rotating them into position was the next part. Case that we want to use this for an icon, an emblem on the side of a building in a design we're doing. EPS into VectorWorks via the PDF, created in this case in Preview on the Mac. Hope that helps your workflow. That's how I drew it. Thanks for watching.